What is up, everybody? Logan coming at you again with another video, and we went over a trade today, which I'm glad we got out of because it would have gotten hit towards the end of the day. But we'll go over some reasons on why I took it off when I did, the amount of profit we made, and how the trades have shaped up in December. It's been a little bit rockier of a start, but we are clawing our way back just from a tiny setback we had last week. So overall, still looking good. We can take you guys to the big chart. If you watched the previous video, which is where Vance and I went over the 90 trades that we had taken, 0 DTE from June 1st to the end of November. So if we do that right now, you guys can see here, this was that chart. And this kind of looks like, right, where we're topping on the account performance a little bit, right? Because we've had that big roll. We had a day where we actually exceeded 2x the expected move. And then I rolled, pulled the strikes down, and it did it again. So then we rolled, pulled the strikes down, and then the market ended up popping back up towards that weekly expected move in general. So over here, right, we're almost back to where the portfolio peak was, which was around when we made that video. But we did see a little bit of a pull down for a little bit, and then the last two trades have helped us claw our way back. But that is the name of the game, right? Like even back here in July, we had a decent flat, or June, we had a decent flat period. In July into August, we had a decent flat period, right? And then we've also had a couple setbacks because I used to roll things out further. It would take a few more days, but overall still in the up and up with the charts. And then here are the 90 trades. If you guys wanted to ever go over them, I'll zoom back in. Vance and I are updating the spreadsheet right now. We currently just have from 11/28 on this specific sheet, but you guys can find out down there in the description. And we're going to release the next set, which is with that charting I just showed in the next video. So for anybody who watched those, that is where we're at right now with it. And we'll go over in today's trade and how we did and my criteria and how it's been getting broken a little bit more lately. Which is keeping us on our toes, but also some of that is due to the volatility index being so low, right? So if we take a look at SPX stock today, we actually went up 1.5% on the day. Kind of crazy, right? But we had a lot of chop and a lot of resistance to fight through to get here. But we'll go over my trades. So if we take a look at the expected move, this is for tomorrow, which is kind of wild. We can go into that too. But for today's trade, right? So the market had closed at 39.34. The expected move was 38 points, which made our EM high 39.72, our EM low around that 3900, right? We have CPI coming out on Tuesday at 8:30 in the morning Eastern time. So intuitively, you would think the market would take risk off. But we actually added risk today. And for whatever reason that is, we have done that in some of the previous pre-CPI days. And then the next day shot down like 3 to 4%. A lot of gambling going on, but that is just how the market moves intuitively, right? Like that's the human nature of how the market moves is people are going to put positions on before the end of the day. Where I'm the type of person that would rather take like a futures contract on MES once I see the direction, if I think I can emotionally handle trading that specific thing that day. This is where the levels were. And I was taking a look and I was like, well, we have this 1% move and the EM high, right? So let's play around there. We can get decent credit this morning. So that's what I ended up doing at around 10 a.m. I slapped some on for 50 cents. And that was one thing I kept telling the Discord was no matter what, we're getting out by 2:30 on this trade. We actually did make 25 cents on the trade, but if we didn't get out by then, we would have actually gotten steamrolled. And it's kind of funny that right around that 240, 250 mark is when this next push started happening. But this is why I try to steer clear of power hour as much as possible. Very rarely do I hold stuff into expiration. If it's anything around these FOMC days or CPI days, just because the risk is not worth the reward when you're doing a credit spread around these days, right? Like the day before, because you get these sporadic movements that just blow out the expected move. And our expected move math is the top criteria for these. Did we get a gap up or a gap down? We did not. So there really wasn't an edge as far as picking each side. And the VIX actually went up today on a day that the market went up too, which will kind of give you a lot of improper options pricing than what you're typically used to. And that's when these sort of like short squeezes happen, right? People are piling in and then the shorts are getting forced out. And you're going to see this every day now that SPX has expirations every day. you're going to see this movement almost every day, right? During power hour, because everybody who's been sitting in their shorts all day or their longs are going to start readjusting their positions if they don't want overnight risk. So if we go back to the expected move chart, right, that 39.72 is the expected move high, and we actually closed 18 points above that. So that was exceeded, right? 2x the EM high wasn't, but there was no premium there, and that's part of the VIX being this low. So a little adjustment I might do to this strategy to keep everything growing is I might start shifting to more 1 to 2 DTEs with 0 DTEs, just because that gives you less short-term stress when it comes to trading the markets, right? And that's one big thing as a trader, is controlling your emotions, controlling your stress around these trades. Because if you're in a call credit spread and at the end of the day, like you had to work all day sitting in that, and then you get pushed out at the end of the day, it's very frustrating when it's like, well, if we could take this off for break even or a small profit at 230, then we're getting out, right? Like just to get out overall was a good setup, and the price action just went against us. But we were still able to get out, like I said. And here are the other couple of trades that we had where we had to roll, pull some strikes down, rolled again, did a little condor action to either get some debits back or add to your credit received. And then when you get a chance to take the PCS off, you actually don't mind eating a small debit. So these are the last few trades. Like I said, I haven't been making as much videos. My sister had her baby, so my niece is here, and I've been spending a lot of time over there actually after the trading day, because it's pretty mentally taxing to trade all day and then to make videos after. But did we exceed the expected move on Friday? We did not, but we did exceed it today. So expect tomorrow with a huge expected move, right, of CPI, we're probably going to see over a 100-point day tomorrow. And that's whether that's up or down, or at some point we'll see it maybe go down 100 and then maybe try to pop back up. Our position sizing, right, just typical sizing that I'm doing on 5%, like I do that 5 to 6% of your account when I start a trade. The trade timing today, that was something I put on. We waited a little bit to get a nice little run up, right? If we go back to the one daily. So around this 10 o'clock, we put that trade on, and we had a couple chances where it did fall off. But even as it pushed against us throughout the day, there was enough time decay, and I'm not talking theta, but like volatility decay, right? Just because of it getting closer to expiration, that the expected move ended up shrinking enough for us to get out. So right overall, a pretty decent time to get out was around that 230. And it's just because I know from previous CPI, like pre-CPI days, that we're going to get this really insane movement. So that's everything with this trade. Basically, you know, we chose those strikes and I just put them outside the expected move high. And that did get tested at some point, right? But we were already out, and that was part of my risk management. We're just knowing those pre-CPI days are pretty hectic. And I think that's one thing as being a trader is your expectations, right? When we take a look at this and you see drawdowns happen, right? And that is part of the process. And I do expect this account to hit a new all-time high probably about a week from now, because I don't plan on trading tomorrow or Wednesday. So that is just something to keep in mind of as well, is just market situational awareness. That's what we always talk about with Vance. We talk about it with Halcyon. It's just being aware of the situation. And I personally don't like to trade 0 DTEs when you have to wait all day on like a Powell day, right, until 2:30, and then there's a massive move. And I try not to trade on CPI days unless my setup is perfect, because we've even had like 4.3% red days during this time. And I think that was back in either September or October, where the market just completely cratered off of the inflation data. So there is a lot going on, but I really do appreciate you guys sticking through this video, and I'm really excited to see what we get tomorrow, even though I won't be trading it. And that's just off my own mental and personal preference. The fact that like we could hit 4,100 or it could go down to 3,800. Like it is totally possible, right? This market has loved to just chop people, like just chop, paper cut, like death by 1,000 paper cuts, right? Because there's so much chop up and down. So that's going to be everything for me in this video. I hope you guys learned something of value. You got to see how I picked today's trade, why I took it off, when I did. And just days like today and weeks like this are really weird. So just be on your toes. Like just be as humble as you can. because I think that's the best thing you can do as a trader. But that's going to be everything for me in this video. If you guys would like to come trade with us, the link to the Discord is down below, and I will see you guys in the next video.